convincing you to read Alter Shadow in 30 seconds. Ready? Go. Welcome to Emberdale, a high society kingdom filled with beautiful lies, and the truth is the deadliest weapon. Tragedy seems to follow our young female lead Riva, where her life is dramatic and traumatic. She is set to enter an arranged marriage as her father's dying wish, but her soon-to-be brother-in-law, Aaron, does not want Riva to join their family. So he sets out on a personal mission of revenge to ensure that doesn't happen. Along the way, we face a murder accusation, assassins, and an action-packed ending you will not see coming. This book was such a wild ride, I am honestly still processing it. First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the author. She actually found me on YouTube and emailed me asking me to read and review her debut novel. And of course, yeah. But first, I have to start off by saying that even though that this is a fantasy set in an imaginary kingdom, I noticed the story incorporates cultural influences and terminology that were unfamiliar to me. I found myself looking up a few words and a few references along the way, and once I understood some of the influences better, it added a whole nother layer to this reading experience. Also, it's using storytelling traditions that I am less familiar with than the Western fantasy novels that I typically read. So once I put all the puzzle pieces together, I was able to just enjoy the story and let it unravel. And boy, let me tell you, this story was dramatic. The entire first half of the book was a lot of setup and introductory to all the characters and where exactly the story was going to go. Don't get me wrong, it was still entertaining and I was still enjoying it, but I just kept questioning, like, what is happening? What is the end goal here? Where are you taking me? Where is this journey going to go? It wasn't until I hit about the 50% mark point when things really started to ramp up and kept my attention. In the book synopsis and like description to try to pull you in right away, it mentions that our main character Riva is just starting at Imperial College, which I thought, cool. I love academia settings, but the college was barely in the story. It's there a lot at the beginning. That's how we get introduced to a lot of the characters, but the main plot actually has nothing to do with the college at all. So I would have either loved that the college had like a bigger role in this book, or it's not in it at all. There are definitely other ways to introduce the characters, especially in a kingdom setting with all these princes and like these high authority figures. There are definitely other ways to introduce them. I also was not the biggest fan of the dialogue in this book. We know that Riva, our main character, is about to turn 21 because she has to enter an arranged marriage before her 21st birthday, and they're all in college. So we can assume that all these characters are around the same age, but everyone acted like they were children, like we were back in high school. I was just a little bothered by the way that they were speaking to each other. It just felt young and immature and childish. Again, that also could tie into the cultural traditions that I was talking about earlier, but just something that just kind of bothered me as a reader. The highlight for me, though, definitely the action sequences. The tension was fantastic. The stakes felt real, and those scenes had me turning pages faster than I was expecting. I was eating it up. I loved it. They were written so beautifully. I just wanted more. And then not to mention, we are left on a crazy cliffhanger. So despite my critiques, do not be fooled. I really did enjoy this book. It was entertaining, probably a little bit longer than it needed to be, but I really did have a blast reading it. I was left with some unanswered questions, but don't worry, book 2 is already in the works. So to finish up my thoughts, this book is classified as a fantasy romance, but I actually would classify this as a YA fantasy. There is maybe some like attraction and some flirty thoughts, but there isn't any actual romance that happens in this book. That's why I would consider it more of a YA fantasy. Alter Shadow, Whispers of Valor and Deceit, book 1 of the Emberdale series is available right now on Amazon. It's free for Kindle Unlimited, but it's also available to purchase in a digital format or a paperback and a hardcover copy. You get your pick, whatever you prefer to read. It's available. I will have a link to that in the description and in the comments down below if you want to go check out the Emberdale series.